Alright, so the video in the front cut short, but that's fine because I wanted to kind of get several little short ones. So here's kind of the engine. You've seen kind of in some pictures here that I've cut a hole in the front. That is not necessarily required. I know there's some others that have not done that in the squarebacks. I actually did it for a couple reasons. For one, which we'll start up there and what's going on. As you can see, I have my air filter setting off over to the side there, which is above the starter. I do have, as you can see, that plastic coating, just because metal around the filter, which is not really touching anywhere where there be wires, because wires would be near closer to the back. But the metal and, of course, hot wire is always going to be bad. I got you can't really see it. I did put a bus starter in here, just because I heard it was good, it would work. Was not going to be the plan to start out with, but I went ahead and put it in because my starter actually took a dump in the middle of this swap. So if you're going to swap out to something different or fix something, you might as well kind of better it. So that's what I did. Here's the harness wire, as you can see, coming through here. Here we go. Went in through the factory hole. I just made the factory hole bigger, and then actually on the left there is the factory wire. I cut the loom out, or cut into the loom that was on it, that like plasticky rubber sheathing that's around it, only because of the fact that I was trying to get rid of some other stuff that didn't need to be out here at the fuel injection wires to thin that down. So there's only a couple in there, which is kind of nice. Let's see. There. Sitting down here, I still got to trim this, but this is my throttle idea, I guess. So if we can make this here, move this a little bit. As you can see, Volkswagen on this side, Subaru on this side, a couple hold downs. Use the original Volkswagen little piece here that kind of screws down, clamp the two wires together. Like I said, I got to trim them a little bit and kind of adjust to make sure everything's going to be good, but that's there. See if I can get anywhere you can see it. I did make a really cool little bracket, mounted the transmission. That was actually made out of the battery tray from the Subaru Legacy. I just cut some parts out of it that I needed to make it so, like I said, a lot of it even was going through, and a lot of this has been scrapped and pieced together to make kind of what I wanted to get out of here. So yeah, it's kind of loose. Got to tighten that up. Let's see if I can flip this a little bit here for you. This you see going in here, that's the idle air control hose. I'll shorten it and kind of change it up a little bit down the road, but that's where it is for now. O2 sensor exhaust, which is just the reverse of the manifold. I don't really see too much down here, I guess that is going to be that big a deal. Let's switch in here quick. Sorry for the camera bouncing around. There's some more of the pipe coming through. One of the few spots going to the back that actually have rubber after what you've seen in the front. Because like I said, my goal has been since the start to try to keep as much metal as possible. So that was, had to make a little corner there. Couldn't make it any other way besides that. So did it, and it goes that way. Also, as I said, I went through, that was a rubber line that I ended up putting metal in there and then jacking it up. So that didn't work out so well. But I got metal here. This here, as you can see, fuel lines going around there. Move this here to this part. And then they come up, and you can see, use the Subaru fuel filter. Coming through there, returns, same thing there. So I just have a little bit of the rubber here, a little bit there. For now, the heater hose is just looped on itself. That's going to be the other point. At some point back here is going to be where the HVAC is going to set. So I want to make sure there was plenty of room sitting there. And then I'm going to attempt to plummet it right back into the factory heating duct, so it runs right through the heater channels and stuff like the factory would have. Kind of an idea I have. We'll see how well it goes. Been a few things I've changed so far. And I plan on trying to run an AC, so I don't know if the AC is going to be back here or if I'm going to try to put it in the front somewhere. Let's see here. What else did we kind of do? As I've already seen before, the intake had to be modified. That got me everything sitting down below. This has been modified a little bit just to kind of get it to set lower. That'll be tightened up down the road. The other thing I'm working through right now, I don't have them right now, so as you can see, these are just putting here for mock-ups. I've already taken the boots off the factories, but because of this being a square back, I couldn't have the other setting here, so now I actually have it setting over here. It's bolted down. Once again, just hard to kind of see here, but the bracket underneath is just kind of something I made strictly. Let's see if I can light a little better on here. It still needs cleaned up. It's not pretty. It was just put in to kind of where you can see bare steel. Needed to sand down some of the welds, but that was just more scrap metal that was coming out of the vehicle. Cut it up, bent it, shaped it, and surprisingly enough for how thin and flimsy it is when it's loose, when it's in the car, I mean, I can shake the car with it. The other thing I did that we're going to hit on here, I accidentally threw away the power steering pump, didn't keep it from the donor car, didn't really think about it, and then realized that that's what the alternator goes off of for adjustment. So what I did there, you can see bolted up underneath by the pulley for the AC. And you can see I'm missing a bolt there, but I'm not running AC until probably summer, so I'm not worried about that right at the moment. But this is actually a alternator bracket for a, I think, small block or a big block Chrysler. Got it off of eBay for, I think, like $10. This, and then there was another bracket which I didn't even use. It's chrome, but I'm not really worried about chrome if it is or isn't. Let's see here. What else do we have? As you can see, everything else kind of sits just barely below the exhaust. That's the next thing. I'll try to do better at some point here to get a view, but that was just a little hanger that I mounted to one of those bosses down there for the would have been originally the power steering pump mounted to, I guess. Brought it out, welded it to this muffler. This is just a Walker 18104, I believe. I picked it because it was a single in, dual out. I'm trying to get, so I get here, get a better look, more of a Volkswagen-ish look. So you see the dual tips coming out each side. So that kind of got me to be able to do that. I don't know if I can get down here. Well, you guys can see a little better. Tucks up pretty nice and neat. See that there? I had to make the tips. The tips are actually off of a 2013 WRX, but they didn't fit the way I wanted them to. So if you can kind of see, used some pipe to come off of, and then made those into there. And of course, I don't think I can show this too well here either. Fully functional, as you can see, through that point there. So they work. It sounds not like a Subaru like I was hoping for, but all the neighbors I heard it run the other day said it sounded really good. So we'll see. The other thing, not really able to get a very good view of it, but the oil pan does set kind of low. Didn't have too much of a problem besides one little spot of my pulling it out of my driveway. I got to be a little careful coming out of that. Stock depth oil pan, didn't cut it down or anything. Don't plan on it. Mostly because I am not a person that likes to drag the pan, and putting this motor in has lowered the rear end a little bit. So what I'll end up doing is I'll probably raise the rear about one more click. Should give me about 1.5 inches in the rear, I think, if I remember right from one inner. I like to tuck, as you can see, the front tires are tucked. I like the rake look, so I like to tuck the front tire and have the back tire not tucked. So, and considering the fact that we plan on carrying the family, so the wife, 2 kids, and possibly 2 dogs when we go to shows. So I need to make sure that this rear end's up. And like I said, if it comes down to it, I might cut that pan down. But my goal is to kind of lift the rear if need be. So, but I think that's got the majority of it. I will add, oh, here, I wanted to do this real quick. For that hole, kind of hard to see right at the moment. For the hole that's in there, this is actually going to be the new hatch that goes in I'm building, and then that'll mount on top of it to give me the look I want. So, but more to come. I'll show you more, and I'll get more videos